The Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez has shockingly revealed his training regimen to beat Terence Crawford once and for all. It looks like Canelo is training with his former opponent Jaime Munguia this time around as he promises to reign supreme as the best boxer in the world. On the other hand, former boxer and also Canelo's former promoter Oscar De La Hoya shared his thoughts on the Canelo-Crawford fight and said that a good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the sport. Aiming his shots at Crawford, he said that Canelo is way bigger than him, and history has proven time and time again that smaller fighters can't do well against larger opponents, with the exception of his own fight with Manny Pacquiao.
Well, look, I mean, I've been in this game for such a long time, and I like to say I'm a historian. There's never been a good little man that beats a good big man. It hasn't happened. I mean, the exception is maybe Pacquiao beating me, but that situation and scenario was like totally different. I was at the end of my career, and I was a shot fighter, and Pacquiao was coming up and he beat me. But a good little man.
Furthermore, De La Hoya said that if Crawford can beat Canelo, then he will go down as the greatest boxer of all time. Oscar highly doubts that Terence can put up much of a challenge against Alvarez, but he understands the motivation behind Crawford and his team for taking on such a huge challenge.
Which would be Crawford just has never beat a good big man, which would be Canelo, in the history of the sport. It just now, if Crawford can do it, Jesus Lord, I mean, give this man, I mean, the title of being the greatest ever, you know? And that's probably the motivation for Crawford. That's probably the motivation for his camp, for his, for his corner, for his trainer, is that, look, if you beat Canelo, you can go down as one of the historical best fighters ever on the planet.
On the other hand, Canelo Alvarez has switched on his beast mode and is training hard for his immediate fight against William Skull, and then his fight against Crawford in September. He can be seen doing a variety of strength and conditioning exercises in the gym. Canelo is aligned with the legend Eddie Reynoso, and they are leaving nothing to chance since William Skull is a dangerous fighter, and so is Crawford. Not only that, but Ryan Garcia has also joined Canelo's camp as they gear up to face their opponents in May. Meanwhile, Dmitry Bivol was one of the few who beat Canelo Alvarez in 2022. The Russian Bivol believes that Bud Crawford has good skills to give the Mexican a challenging battle, as he made his remarks on the size of both fighters. Bivol added, "My first reaction, of course, was about the size of Crawford. Is it okay for him to go up 2 weight classes or not? But then I saw him in Dubai maybe a month ago. I thought, he's big, he has very good skills, he is capable of winning this fight, but there are many details that we do not know." While talking about the unknowns in the fight, Bivol said that it may be difficult for Crawford to carry the same power at 168 pounds as he initially had at 147 pounds. Dmitry concluded, "We don't know how he will handle it. He needs to get used to the power and pressure of 168 pounds because it's a big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it and how he will feel. But he is capable. He has good skills. He is uncomfortable and can use both hands. That benefits him. On the contrary, it looks like Canelo is going all out with his training sessions, as he has even included the former UFC star Jorge Masvidal in his camp. Jorge has teased a UFC comeback and hopes to compete inside the octagon later this year. As he ramps up training for his potential return, Masvidal got to learn from the best. Recently released footage of Game Bread shows him spending time with Canelo Alvarez. However, the 40-year-old Masvidal was also soaking up knowledge from boxing legend Roberto Duran during his time at the highly respected gym. A video has surfaced showing several moments of Jorge Masvidal's trip to the Capitillo boxing gym as he reportedly nears his combat sports return. Adding to his debate on whether or not Crawford can beat Canelo, Dimitri Bivol said that the mental aspect far outweighs the physical aspect. He added, "If you're mentally prepared, you won't have any trouble with the punches. Alvarez has good defense. It's one of his virtues. He uses his body a lot." On the contrary, Oscar De La Hoya has no hope that Crawford has the strength or the agility to beat Canelo Alvarez. He said that it's very hard for him to believe that Terence can break through Canelo's defenses. He said that Canelo is a big puncher, and he will be putting the pressure on Terence, which will be extremely difficult for him to handle.
But I just don't see it as a fighter. I just don't see it. I mean, Canelo is a big puncher. Yeah, he walks on quicksand, and that's one thing that Crawford can use against him. But the pressure of the heavier guy. Canelo will be 200 pounds up in that ring, so it's a tough fight, but look, I give all the credit to Crawford if he pulls that one off.
Later on, De La Hoya stated that if Crawford can manage to pull off the biggest upset in boxing history, then he will be noted down as the best of all time. In conclusion, Oscar doesn't have enough hope for Crawford to beat Canelo.
Jesus, he'll be the messiah of boxing, of fighters,
And he'll be a star of Clapback Thursday.
Just give me more content for Clapback Thursday.
On the other hand, Canelo Alvarez has aligned with Jaime Munguia and Ryan Garcia under the guidance of Eddie Reynoso in hopes of defeating Terence Crawford. Another training session shows all three top fighters, Canelo, Jamie, and Ryan, training alongside Eddie Reynoso.
Right. Uno, dos.
Teofimo Lopez was first aligned with Canelo's training camp, but soon negotiations fell apart, and he shared his heartfelt disappointment for cutting ties with Eddie Reynoso. Teofimo stated, "It hurts though. That shit hurt. I'm going to be real with y'all. It hurts a little bit because I care. I love Canelo and the team, I do, but don't play me as anything else than what it is. I'm the best fighter. I won't coattail or bandwagon anybody because we did it our way. We were respectfully only asking to enhance our game. That takes a lot from a champion." Lopez further stated that the reason for splitting from Canelo's team wasn't his fault. He added, "I told my father, why are we doing this? What I really asked for was to train alongside Canelo at the same time. I'm not there to spy. I'm there to learn. Why can't we do that? But it's not Canelo's fault because he's just focused on his fight. It's not Eddie's fault. Maybe it's just the alignment of things. But shit, I'm upset. I'm really upset." It is also worth noting that Canelo and his team regularly enjoy the fun moments during training, as Alvarez can be seen dancing while throwing punches. Canelo is more focused on using his free time to dance rather than take his next fight against William Skull or Terence Crawford seriously. These actions are leading many to believe that a huge upset is just a matter of time now. Sometimes Canelo Alvarez can get really serious and trains hard to beat his immediate opponent, William Skull. He will then go up against Terence Crawford in September. He showed off his moves on social media and gave the fans a glimpse of what it feels like to fight him. On the opposite end of the story, the American boxer Terence Crawford is confident that he can bring out the best version of Canelo, as he considers that his last fights have not been very explosive. Canelo's rivals have not helped him to show off more of his strength and skill, and it looks like he is gassing out. Terence stated, "Canelo has been holding back a lot in his last fights. I think he held back with Jaime Munguia, he just didn't want to hurt him. Berlanga, he just felt he didn't have to do too much. With Charlo, he really didn't feel the need to go in and just massacre him. With me, he'll be the best Canelo we've seen so far." Sean Porter, a former boxer and rival of Crawford, shared his thoughts on why a match between Crawford and Canelo is so compelling. According to Porter, Terence Crawford faced criticism regarding his track record, which led him to challenge the top boxer in the world. Porter explained that this fight is Crawford's way of proving his greatness and silencing any doubts about his abilities.
You know, I think Bud is out for the best. That's something that I know personally about Bud. You know, feeling counted out and doubted for so long, I think that Bud mentally feels as if I do this against Canelo, no one can ever deny anything that I've done, you know? Even when you, like, the fight with me, I've heard people say, well, Sean was retiring, so you didn't fight the best Sean Porter.
Lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson shared his thoughts on the first time Terence had the idea to fight Canelo Alvarez. Shakur was the one who was most vocal about the fight even before anyone had the idea, stating that Crawford will be the best in the world when he defeats Canelo.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been putting it out since, I want to say, when he fought Sean Porter. Like back then, if you go watch, it's an interview out there. I had said I think that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez right after he fought Sean Porter. So the idea, I've been thinking about it. I've been saying it before Bud even was saying it.
Why were you saying it then?
Building on his earlier remarks, Sean Porter emphasized that no one matches the caliber of Canelo Alvarez. He acknowledged boxing's top athletes who have achieved significant standing in the sport, but asserted that no fighter, whether in the 168-pound division or any other weight class, comes close to Canelo's level. Porter also commended Crawford for stepping up to challenge boxing's finest.
He fought himself into what I like to say, out of this world. He fought himself into being on another stratosphere. That stratosphere that Canelo has been on for years. That stratosphere that not too many people make it to. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, you know, Oscar De La Hoya in his prime. You know, you can't. So who else is there right now in that stratosphere other than Canelo? There is no one else.
Later on, Terence Crawford shared that he has a plan to beat Canelo, and it doesn't involve knocking out his opponent. Bud wants to win the fight, but is aware that a knockout is very difficult, so he points out that it is not his priority for the fight against Canelo. He added, "I don't have to knock him out, I just have to beat him. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely, but I'm not going in looking to knock Canelo out." Crawford even confessed that he has studied the Mexican well and analyzed that he has been favored in his changes of division by facing slow fighters. He added, "He's a little big moving up divisions, but those bigger guys are slower. They can hit him hard, but he's able to roll the impact because he's coming from a lower weight class, where everything was faster and more accurate." In conclusion to his remarks about Canelo, Terence said that not knocking him out is a realistic plan. Crawford knows that Canelo is not unbeatable and promises to deliver the performance of a lifetime. He stated, "He's not a machine, he's human like me, he bleeds like me. I won't go in there thinking I can't hurt him, but I won't go in there thinking I'll try to knock him out either." Meanwhile, another training video shows Ryan Garcia and Canelo Alvarez, who are training hard for their fights in May. Canelo has revealed the essential items he needs in every training camp. He said that he needs his clothes, gloves, and his vitamins.
The 5 things I need in my bag for my training is my shoes, boxing shoes, because obviously I need to be comfortable to train. My gloves, obviously, to throw punches.
Showbiz the Adult offered a brutal take on Terence Crawford's resume when he discussed his fight with Canelo. He stated that Crawford is not on his top 5 list because he hasn't beaten the best fighters, but if he manages to beat Alvarez, then he will think of placing him on the list.
When I beat Canelo Alvarez, I think I'm gonna be, top 3.
He said when he beats Canelo, he'll be top 3. I don't think so, but I'll put him top 5. He's not top 5, but he's top 5. Let me tell you what I mean. As far as accomplishments, no, he will not be top 5. But what I'm saying is, if he beats Canelo and y'all ask me, Hagler versus Terence Crawford, I got to think about it. This is experienced champion 168 who had fought at 175, knocked somebody out at 175, no. After being schooled by Floyd, there's nothing Terence Crawford can show him. And if Terence Crawford beats this man at 38 years old, jumping up weight classes, I don't give a damn who y'all mention. I gotta think about it.
According to his trainer Bomac, if Terence Crawford manages to beat Saul Canelo Alvarez in September, he could consider retiring. In a chat with Boxing Scene, Bomac expressed that the 37-year-old boxer could hang up his gloves if he beats the Mexican, defends his legacy, and expands his footprint in boxing. Bomac added, "Of course. It probably could be the last one. Probably could. Yes, probably could. Hey, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win." Furthermore, Bomac told Boxing Scene that he isn't worried about the size advantage that Canelo has over Crawford. He said that Terence is capable enough that he can hold his own in a fight. He added, "No, I'm not worried about the size. I'm not worried about that. Terence has a very good eye for boxing and a great IQ. The only person who can beat Terence is himself. Sure, it's natural to worry, and with a big guy like Canelo, but knowing what Bud is like, knowing what he's capable of, and I know that he does it for his legacy and he wanted to prove everyone wrong, he'll be fine." Who will win between Crawford and Canelo? Do you expect a knockout or a decision victory? We would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments section below and subscribe for more content like this.